All right, back to it now. Glad you're here as we keep an eye on the hurricane coming toward Florida and the cleanup in North Carolina. But there's so much else going on, we can't get completely distracted. Gordon G. Chang is a columnist for Newsweek, a regular contributor to The Hill, writes for Newsmax as well. He's been here many, many times. And he's here to discuss Plan Red, China's project to destroy America, which is a storm that goes on week after week, month after month, and year after year. Gordon, nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Yeah, we have big storms that pop up like what we're dealing with in Florida right now, but this red storm has been going on probably since the normalization of relations with China back in 1972. China's relentless. They keep coming at us from every different direction, and there's no end in sight because they're never going to stop, are they?
No, they're not, because the Communist Party believes it is in an existential struggle with the U.S. And Steve, it's not because of anything that we say or do, but it's because of who we are. An insecure regime in Beijing is worried about the inspirational impact of America's values and form of governance on the Chinese people. So we will never have amicable relations with China as long as the Communist Party rules it. And that means, and let me put this another way, that there's only going to be one survivor. It will either be the United States of America or the People's Republic of China, not both. And by the way, although we're a far stronger society, we're not defending ourselves. So we could lose everything because China means to take down America and kill Americans, as it is already doing.
Well, as I sit here and look at this, and they are killing Americans, an easy example is fentanyl. The components are made in China, shipped to Mexico, where the combined 100,000 Americans die every year. To me, that's an act of war. It's mild by comparison to what they would like to see happen, but that's ongoing. Look, we have a weak administration in Washington. It doesn't deal with anything properly, and that's allowing the invasion of Chinese ideals from Confucius Institutes to 40,000 Chinese men of military age coming over our southern border that's wide open. All of these things are factors, aren't they?
Well, they certainly are. And, you talk about the invasion. We're seeing people who look like Chinese operatives. But there's one thing we don't have to speculate about. As we see this invasion, there is a vast increase in the tempo of Chinese incursions into our military bases. Some of them are successful, some of them are not. But clearly they are planning to attack. And when we think about that secret Chinese biological weapons lab that was found in Reedley, California, with at least 20 pathogen and almost 1,000 mice that have been genetically engineered to spread disease, that means we are going to be under attack from our own soil.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure you saw this headline, but for those that missed it last week, here in Michigan, where I live, 5 University of Michigan Chinese students arrested for espionage because they were up at Camp Grayling poking around. Camp Grayling, one of the largest military installations in North America, in the United States, and 5 University of Michigan students arrested for espionage. I mean, this is not some fluke. They're just the ones that got caught, aren't they?
That's right. And Chinese students are subject to coercion. There's 2 stories here. One of them is China's thorough penetration of our military facilities with every Chinese or many Chinese nationals. The other thing, though, is that we Americans have allowed Chinese consular officials and Ministry of State Security agents to coerce Chinese students here. This is our country, Steve. This is on us. And the current president and all of his predecessors, going back many, many decades, know about this and have done very, very little about it. So one way we can deal with this is, yes, we've got to start turfing out Chinese students, but also we Americans need to hold our political leaders accountable for clearly knowing what's going on and not defending us.
As you look at how poorly we've reacted to China, as you look at the invasion, you've got Chinese police stations, you've got students being arrested for espionage, you've got these folks coming over the border, 40,000 that we know of, could be more, with their intentions unknown. Where do we start? Where do we fight back? You say there will be one winner. It'll either be China or the United States, not both, coexisting on the planet. How do we come out on top, Gordon?
The thing we have to do, it's not politically feasible, but it's absolutely necessary, is we need to sever the links with China because we're being overwhelmed by now. Our federal government, state governments are being overwhelmed. Law enforcement at all levels is being overwhelmed. Universities, media platforms, all the rest of it. And until we can get some sort of handle on it, we need to sever those relations, not just reduce them. We need to sever them because China uses every point of contact to take down our society. And right now, we've got somebody with strong Communist Party ties, Tim Walz, who could very well become Vice President of the United States and President of the United States. And over the course of this entire century, he has had contact with the Communist Party's United Front Work Department, which is the part of the party that subverts foreign governments.
Yeah. Tim Walz has a very cozy relationship with China. I don't know who honeymoons in China, but he did. And he's been there, 30 or 40 times. It's remarkable his coziness with the Chinese Communist Party, which is the existential threat to America and Western civilization on the planet, period. The book is Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America by Gordon G. Chang. I assume this is available now, Gordon.
It is. It came out October 1st, which, by the way, was the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic. That was coincidental, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's symbolic.
Let me ask you this, though. What's not coincidental, I want to go back to Tim Walz for a moment. He's been to China many, many times, claimed to have been there during Tiananmen Square. A lie. Here's a guy who can't tell the truth about the most simple things. Yeah, I'm just a knucklehead. Well, I don't want a knucklehead or a communist to be vice president of the United States. Where am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all. Tim Walz, when he was taking American students to be exposed to communist propaganda, he had to have had the approval of the United Front Work Department. Now, he can't say that he was young, stupid, or naive because as governor of Minnesota, in other words, today, he has had continuous contact with Communist Party front organizations in his state. He appointed essentially a CCP agent to a Minnesota government board. And by the way, you talked about police stations, these secret police facilities in the United States. One of them happens to be in Minnesota. I just find that he needs to explain to the American people this. He can explain away a fact or two, but he can't explain away the pattern. And I believe that his presence on the Democratic Party ticket should disqualify that ticket because in our country, we do not need a communist so near to the resolute desk in the Oval Office.
I agree. Gordon G. Chang, you can find him on Twitter at Gordon G. Chang. Follow him for the most up-to-date, comprehensive, in-depth look at what's going on from Beijing to Washington and all points in between. Gordon, always appreciate you being here because you do bring such insight to the conversation, sir. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much, Steve, and stay safe.
Stay safe yourself. Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. Gordon G. Chang. If you want some reading that might just keep you up at night, that could be it. When we come back, we'll take a deep breath. We're going to have a little bit of fun after the break. We're going to talk about American manufacturing. We're going to talk about fall weather and how wonderful it is and having the right clothing for it. Yeah, the right clothing. What do I mean? You'll have to find out when I come back.